Hello guys, I'm Happy and today I'm going to show you how the new warp system works. So in order to create a warp, first of all you will have to be standing on a claim you own. So in this case I just created a land called tutorial video. You can create lands with lands, create, and then the name of your land. After you have created it, and when you are standing on your land, because you have to be standing inside of it, you can then run set warp and then the name of the warp. So in this case I'm going to make a warp called tutorial, and then here we can set a price. So warps can either be free, so that means they cost 0, or they can cost money. However, there is an important note here. Teleporting to a warp is always free, regardless if it costs money or not. What actually costs money is unlocking the benefactor role. Don't expect people to pay 100 Doritos every time they teleport to your warp, because that's not going to happen. They are able to teleport for free, and then they will get benefactor role if they wish to unlock it for 100 in this case. So I'm just going to create it, and then you can see that we created the warp tutorial. You can see all of the warps by doing /warps, and you can see there is a few already. But in this case, this is my warp tutorial, and then you can see that I have it unlocked, of course, because I am the owner. Also, the globe icon here shows you the warps that are on a different cool server. So if you are on cool 1 and then this warp is on cool 2, you will see this globe icon. Anyways, so what's this benefactor role about? So this is very important. I put it in the announcements, but people I don't think they are reading it, so please really pay attention to this part because it's very important. If you go into lands, you will see that here you can see all of your lands, alright? So I have a bunch of lands and I'm trusting on a bunch of that. So I'm going to work into the tutorial video land, which is the one I'm standing on, and here you can see that we have roles. So if I go inside of here, you can see there are 4 roles. Okay, we have the untrusted role, the benefactor role, which is the important one we will be talking about, and this is the role that people paying for your warp will receive, and then member role, which is the standard /trust role that people receive, and then the owner role. If we go into benefactor role, you will notice that the default settings for action flags here are so people that pay for your warp are able to plant, harvest, shear entities, pick up and drop items, attack monsters, attack animals, trade with villagers, use redstone. I think open trapdoors is enabled by default too, and I think this is disabled, and open containers is enabled by default. So you will notice that these default settings are oriented towards XP farms, right? Because on an XP farm you can usually kill mobs, kill animals, etc., and open containers to gather the loot. But if you have another different kind of warp, for example a museum, it might not be the best idea to have containers open. You might want to have this disabled. So it is very important that when you create a warp, you change the settings for the benefactor role, else your land is going to be very much griefed, okay? And we are not going to handle griefing for any land that has a warp associated to it, because configuring the benefactor role, it's honestly on you. After you have configured the benefactor role, I'm going to show you how the other players are able to interact with your warp. So I'm going to switch into a player account. Okay, so I am on a player account now. If I do /warp and then tutorial, which is the name of the warp, and then presenter, you will notice that I'm able to teleport to it for free. I don't have to pay anything to teleport to lands, and this is very important. Okay, don't expect people to pay every time they teleport to the amount you set, because that's just not how it works. Teleporting to warps is always free and will always be free, and the reason behind this is people that want to unlock your warp might want to see it first, so that's why teleporting to warps is free, but getting access to it costs money. So here you can see that I cannot interact with this land, I cannot drop any items, or I am even not able to pick up items. This is because when you create a warp on a land, it will restrict the item dropping and pickup functions. So let's say if you have an XP farm, people are not able to get the XP or items on the floor, right? They are only able to see, which is kind of a preview mode, if you will. You will also notice that when we teleport to to a warp or when you go inside of one, you will see that we get a message here. This warp offers benefactor access for 100 Doritos, and then you can unlock the access. I don't even know if I have enough money on my project. Okay, I do. So if I click here on unlock, you will see that I now have benefactor access to tutorial. So I can now drop items inside of it, and I am also able to pick up items inside of it. Of course, depending on the settings of the benefactor role inside that land, you are able to do some stuff or some other stuff. So this is of course up to the landowner and how they configure the benefactor role, alright? So again, it is very important that you understand that if players grief your land, it's because you have misconfigured the benefactor role, and we have no responsibility on fixing any of it because, well, you should have paid attention to the benefactor role. So it's very important to review it before creating a warp, alright? Also, it's important to note that this is a one-time payment, so once the players unlock your warp, they just keep the benefactor role, right? Okay, so I'm back into the account for the claim owner. So here you can see that I'm also able to modify an existing warp. So for example, you can just do update warp and then the name of the warp. So in this case, it's tutorial. And then you can set a new name or use the same. In this case, I'm going to rename it to tutorial, which is the name we already had, so no changes. And then you can update the price, okay? So this price will only affect new buyers of the warp, not existing ones. In this case, we just updated the price from 100 to 200. We can also rename it if you want. In this case, I just rename it tutorial to tutorial 2. In case you created a warp by accident or for any reason you want to delete a warp, just do /del warp and then the name of the warp. So now it is tutorial 2 in this case, and then that warp no longer exists. It's also important that you go into the land and go into the menu, and here you will see that we actually still have the players. So it is important that after you delete the warp, you drop access for the trusted players, because even if you delete them, this will not remove the existing buyers or benefactors from your land. So you have to do that manually, and you can do so by just pressing Q, and that will remove them from the benefactor list. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys create a bunch of warps and a bunch of XP farms that are public. This feature actually already existed on Pure Vanilla around a year ago, but we had to delete it because it was outdated. And let me tell you that people 1 year ago was getting racks of money from this. Just imagine if you set your warp to 1k and then 10 players unlock it a day, and if you keep that for a month, that means 300k a month on gains just on warps alone, on a single warp. So if you make warps that are worthwhile buying, so it's efficient XP farms and whatnot, you are able to get a bunch of money from this. So it is a very good idea to create them, and it's also very handy for players to be able to teleport to stuff. So anyways, I just hope that you guys configure the benefactor role correctly. Don't let your lands be griefed, and of course be sensible on what you use them for. And that's it. So if you have any questions, feel free to create a ticket or ask us any questions if you see me or any staff team online on the server, and we will do our best to resolve them. So with that said, I hope you guys have an amazing day and see you on the server. Bye bye.